Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are taking on a massive, universal pain point, dragging yourself out of bed, running on nothing but pure caffeine and sheer obligation. You know the feeling, right? You go to bed dead tired, but somehow miraculously you wake up exhausted, anxious, and feeling like you're already behind before your feet even hit the floor. So, ever wonder what the actual secret is to boundless morning energy? Today we're unpacking exactly how one deliberate 10-second action right before you sleep literally dictates your entire next day. Let's get right into it.
So why exactly do you wake up exhausted? I mean, you probably just assume, hey, I'm just not a morning person. But listen, I really want to validate your frustration here. That assumption, it's fundamentally wrong. Your morning exhaustion absolutely isn't some character flaw or a lack of discipline. It's actually directly tied to your final moments of consciousness the night before.
Okay, let's dive into this because the truth here completely shifts the paradigm. The big myth is that morning energy is just a personality trait. But the reality, it's a chemical brain issue, period. Researchers have actually documented that your morning mood, that heavy, anxious feeling in your chest, is the direct result of a chemical cascade happening inside your brain while you sleep. If you wake up miserable, it's mostly because you're spending the very last 10 seconds of your day doing something that actively wrecks your morning, and you probably don't even realize it. We need to fix the chemistry, guys, not your personality.
To understand how to fix that chemistry, we really have to look at what your brain is actually doing overnight. It doesn't just switch off like a light bulb. Instead, it actively processes and consolidates the emotional content of your day. In neuroscience, this is called positive memory consolidation. Research has found that the emotional tone of your thoughts immediately before you drift off has a disproportionately huge influence on which memories actually get strengthened. Basically, your brain takes whatever you're feeling in your last 10 seconds of consciousness and it actively amplifies that exact feeling for the next 8 hours. Think about that. If you fall asleep worrying, you are literally practicing anxiety all night long.
And that brings us to the very first and honestly most crucial action you must take right before sleep. We call it Habit 1, the 10-second gratitude imprint. If you want a calmer, much more regulated cortisol awakening response tomorrow morning, meaning you wake up feeling physically and mentally balanced, you've got to give your sleeping brain the right emotional material to work with. You basically have to hijack that consolidation process so it actually works in your favor.
So how do we actually pull off this imprint? Well, first off, this is definitely not about mentally rattling off some generic gratitude list. Lists just don't have the heavy emotional weight we need here. Instead, in the literal final 10 seconds before sleep takes over, bring just one specific, genuine positive thing to mind. Maybe focus on the exact sound of a laugh you heard that day, or the deep satisfaction of a finished task, or just a distinct moment of warmth. The trick is to hold on to that one specific, real feeling as you actually cross the threshold into sleep. Let that genuine positivity be the absolute last data point your brain registers.
Now, for that 10-second imprint to actually stick, we need Habit 2, the 90-minute disconnect. Look, you've probably heard the standard advice to put your phone away 30 minutes before bed, but the number you really need to know is 90. That 30-minute rule, it's almost completely useless. The light from phone screens suppresses your melatonin production for up to 90 minutes after the exposure ends, which leaves your nervous system partially activated all night long.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the psychological damage of that late-night scrolling. See, when you're looking at news or social media, your brain does not see relaxing entertainment. It sees urgent, emotional data. It's literally like giving your nervous system a double espresso right before bed. That intense processing happens overnight and completely steamrolls over that delicate positive gratitude imprint you're trying to create. Disconnecting 90 minutes early gives your positive memory consolidation a real fighting chance.
Moving right along to Habit 3. The magic number for your physical body is a tiny 1 to 2 degree Fahrenheit drop. This specific, minuscule drop is the precise biological signal your nervous system desperately needs to fully deactivate. If your room is too warm, your nervous system actually thinks the body is still active, and it simply won't shut down, which leaves you with a highly reactive, stressed-out cortisol response the next morning.
To really cement how critical this is, let's look at neuroscientist Matthew Walker from UC Berkeley, who has studied this mechanism extensively. He points out that this tiny temperature drop is one of the most reliable triggers for deep non-REM sleep. And remember, non-REM sleep is the most restorative, neurochemically regenerative stage of your entire sleep cycle. So this isn't just about feeling nice and cozy under the blankets. It is a hardwired biological requirement to physically repair your brain.
Fortunately, triggering this drop is incredibly simple. About 30 minutes before sleep, try using these little biological nudges. You can expose your hands and feet to cool air, lower your room temperature just slightly, or my personal favorite, run cool water over your wrists for 30 seconds. These are rapid biological nudges that basically trick your body into initiating that deep sleep.
Okay, once your body is physically prepped, we introduce Habit 4, which taps into some truly fascinating pre-sleep neuroscience. In the final 2 to 3 minutes before sleep, your brain enters what's called the hypnagogic state. This is that magical, highly receptive threshold right between wakefulness and sleep. Your conscious mind is finally releasing control, and your subconscious becomes exceptionally open to direct input. The thoughts you hold in this specific window have a disproportionately strong influence on your emotional tone the minute you wake up.
Because your brain is so highly suggestible right here, we use a morning intention script. Just before your gratitude imprint, silently say this phrase to yourself exactly once. Tomorrow, I wake up feeling rested, clear, and ready. Now, you aren't doing some cheesy woo-woo affirmation here. You are delivering a direct command to a highly receptive brain. You're giving it a literal template for the exact emotional state it needs to deliver the moment you wake up.
So, the crucial point is, we have properly set the stage. We've dropped our core temperature, we've ditched the phone, we've planted our intention, and we've held a positive memory as we drifted off. Everything your brain needs to consolidate positive emotions overnight is perfectly in place. But what actually determines whether that positive emotional state reaches you fully in the morning, or just gets immediately destroyed the second you open your eyes, well, there is one final catalyst required to lock the whole thing in.
And that brings us right to the climax of this entire routine. Habit 5, the morning light contract. At the exact moment of waking up, before you check your phone, before you let any daily stress enter your mind, you have a contract to fulfill. Doing this makes all of your overnight preparation work twice as effectively.
The mechanics of this are absolutely incredible. When natural morning light hits your retinas for just 10 seconds, it immediately activates your suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is basically your circadian master clock. As neuroscientist Andrew Huberman has documented, getting that blue light spectrum anchors your cortisol and activates your serotonin within literally seconds. It perfectly locks in all that overnight preparation we just talked about.
And this brilliantly illustrates our complete chronological blueprint. It's a seamless flow. 90 minutes out, put the phone away. 30 minutes out, cool the body down. In those final 3 minutes, silently state your intention script. In the very last 10 seconds, lock in that gratitude imprint. And then, upon waking, immediately get that natural morning light. This is exactly how you rewire your brain chemistry for better mornings.
So, we've completely dismantled the myth today. You absolutely aren't permanently stuck not being a morning person. Waking up exhausted and anxious isn't your personality, it's literally just unregulated chemistry. And now, you have the exact scientific tools to change that chemistry. So I want to leave you with this challenge. What will your last 10 seconds look like tonight? Go ahead and test this complete bedtime system for yourself and discover what it actually feels like to wake up genuinely